Hello, guys. Welcome to Daddy and the Don Sports. In today's episode, myself and the Don will be bringing you our 2025-2026 Premier League table predictions. If you do enjoy this one, please remember to like and subscribe. But without further ado, here's our predictions. Graham the Don Jones, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Phil?
Not too bad. So, Premier League predictions 25-26. You've got your list?
Yeah, I got it ready, mate.
Right, I've got mine ready. So, we'll start with you then. We'll get straight into it. Number 20th, who have you got?
It was between two teams for me, but I've gone for Sunderland.
Okay.
Just because I don't actually think they had that good of a team, even though they got promoted. Their best player got sold. They've made a couple of good signings in Diarra, who's good, and Adringa, but he never really started for Brighton. But the other signings worry me. They need a lot for me to stay up. So, and I'm not familiar with the manager, so I think they will finish bottom.
Well, I've done exactly the same, to be fair. I've done Sunderland as well. Primarily the same reason. They've lost their talisman. If he was there, I still probably wouldn't have picked him to stay up, but he would have been their chance, if that makes sense. He was their team, and I agree with you that they were, I'd not say lucky to go up, but they were unfancied to go up, so they're going to struggle this year. 20th place. Agreed. So, 19th?
Burnley.
Okay.
Reason? Scott Parker. That simple. He's not a Premier League manager. He's going to play defensive, and they'll lose like 2-0 and then 5-0, then 2-0, and not score goals, not be aggressive. To be fair, they've got some good players. They have some Premier League experience, but I still think they're short as well. But Parker's the main reason. Burnley 19th.
Are you reading these notes? So I've got 19th, Burnley, Scott Parker. No decent purchases so far in the market. So,
Agreed.
Parker, every team he's been at, he's found a way to relegate them or get sacked before he gets relegated. You say the Premier League experience. I agree they have got some, but again, those players have got Premier League experience in getting relegated. So that sort of says it all to me. And they go on about like Trafford getting all this hype about all his clean sheets. But how many saves is he actually making? You're going to get a lot of clean sheets if you've got good defence and you're not facing many shots. It's not like he's pulling off like save after save. He'll face some shots and he'll let in loads of goals and they will finish 19th.
Agreed.
18th.
Wolves.
Okay.
So I'm keeping one of the teams up, and we'll get to that team shortly. They've lost their best two players, Kuna and Agnori. Yes, Larson signed permanently, and he actually had a good year last year, underrated year. And they've got two really good central midfielders in Andre and Gomez, but there's not much more there. Listen, they signed a younger called Lopez. I'm not too sure about him. They could make a few signings, and then I could change my mind. But at this moment, that squad for me is not good enough to stay in the Premier League, and I think Wolves will go down after a few seasons of flirting with relegation. I think this will be their year they go down.
So we've done the same with the team staying up. Slightly more controversial, but I was between Wolves and this team to go down.
I know you're going to say. Go on.
Yeah, and the reason for this, I'm just going to say one thing: Keith Andrews, Brentford. I think between them and Wolves, one of them can go this year. 100%, one of them can go. And the only reason I'm going to say Wolves, so both teams are going to have lost like decent weapons, but Brentford also lost their manager. When Wolves made their appointment, he sort of turned the fortunes around. They had a good sort of strong second half. Fair enough, Cunha was a main part of that as well as like Nori. But they've still got the manager there. They've still got the backroom staff. If they get players in, they can. So I just can't see what Brentford. I think Thomas the Frank engine was one of the keys to that. If he lost in Mbeumo, he lost Tony, he lost whoever, he could keep it. He took his whole backroom staff with him, apart from Keith Andrews. So that sort of has to say something. So it might not go down, but I'm just tipping that as a little outside shot for the season.
I think a few people have said that based on exactly what you said it, and I think if you speak to a Brentford fan, they'll tell you that there's always a plan. I think they've got a lot of good players still. Brentford, two really good centre backs. a really good Livering and Sade. Thiago's fit. Henderson gives experience for their new signings. And now I think that team's perfectly fine, even without Brian and Bemo, Thomas, Frank and Norgard. They're still stronger than a lot of other teams. So I think they will be near there, and they're not that far from relegation, but they're not. For me, they won't get relegated. No.
Are Brentford fans happy with that management appointment, though?
I don't think that they're. I think they trust their board. To be fair, as an outsider looking in, I completely understand why you would say Brentford. Not even just because of the play, because of the appointment. I get that. And for that reason, that's why I have them quite far down the table. I don't think this will be an easy season for them, but I think they just have enough quality to stay up. I think they still have more quality than the three teams I've said that will go down.
Okay, so
but it won't be easy. It won't be easy. I get why you say Brentford. It's not a surprise. I understand it.
Yeah.
And if they do go down, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think they will just have enough because I still think they've got enough quality there.
So number 17, I think it's going to be the same. But go on, you tell us.
I've said Leeds.
Yeah.
And the reason why I've said Leeds because I think they've actually signed some good players. I think they just need a few more attacking options, and then they should be okay to be better than three other teams. I know that's a ridiculous comment probably to say, but that's how it is in the Premier League. They've signed two centre-backs. I don't know either one of them. They've signed two centre midfielders. I know both of them centre midfielders. They add to two players they already have in that position that are good. So they've got depth in the main position for me in football. You need someone in the engine room. They've got some good wingers. They've got a backup to Perot. They need another winger. If they can get that, I think they've got enough quality, and I think they will just they will stay up the skin of their teeth. Maybe last day of the season, maybe a couple of games before the end. But yeah, Leeds will just stay in, and they will stop this little rot for promoted teams as well.
Yeah, I've got Leeds as well. I think as well they pissed promotion really, didn't they? They did it quite comfortably, and they've still got a few players from the last time they were in the Premier. I think the first time they came up last time, they stayed up quite comfortably first season. The second season, they struggled. So, yeah, agreed with that one. 16th place?
West Ham.
Okay.
I worry more about West Ham than I do for Brentford. I think West Ham could easily get relegated this year. Not a lot of quality in the attacking options. You know, their three best players. I don't care what West Ham fans say. The most three talented players are Kodos, Paqueta and Bowen. Paqueta's not, he's going to be gone because he can't play soon. Kodos is gone. They don't have much attacking options apart from Bowen. They've got some good defenders and good central midfielders, but that team is lacking quality. It's lacking confidence. It's lacking direction. Again, they could make some signings and it could change. But as of now, looking at that team, I worry for West Ham. And I think I'm not the only one. I think a few fans worry as well.
Okay. I went for Wolves in 16th. So again, they've lost their best two players, but they've still got the manager. They've still got a chance to add some signings onto this one. So I went for Wolves 16th place. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if they went down or themselves and Brentford went down if one of the other teams, say Burnley or something, turned up. But yeah, Wolves 16th for me.
Cool. I understand that. That's not a silly prediction. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. So 15th place.
Brentford.
Okay.
I think they will be flirting with relegation all year. I think they will be the team after Brentford. I don't think anyone's going to be near it, and I think they'll get clear a few games before the end of the season. It's going to be their most difficult season. They finished about 14th a few years ago, but they had loads of injuries. This year they're going to finish 15th because they're not going to be as good. They're missing some quality, but I still think they've got enough quality to stay in the league. And I think it won't be easy. They will have some hard spots. They'll have some poor runs, but they'll find some form, and they'll get out of problems, and they'll finish sixth from bottom, 15th.
Yeah, so I've gone for West Ham in that position. So pretty similar to the reasons you gave. Really, I think a few West Ham fans I spoke to as well said they're in real trouble. Wouldn't be surprised if they went down, but again, I think there's enough there to stay up. And Potter, love him or hate him, with these sort of teams, he is fairly steady. He's a bit of a draw merchant, isn't he? So I think he'll accumulate enough points to keep them out of trouble with a few games to go, maybe.
I think he gets sacked halfway through the season.
You reckon?
Yeah.
That'd probably be curtains for him, then, wouldn't it? It'd be hard for him to.
Yeah, he just should never have left Brighton. Anyway, we move on.
So
but we've got the same bottom six, which is
pretty much. I think it's going to be in groups this season anyway. The way I've done it anyway, it'll be
Yeah.
three main tiers. So 14th place.
So between 14th and 10th, I think any of these 5 teams could be anywhere. I've gone for Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
The main reason is European football, potentially losing Eze, potentially losing Gahey, and no real signings as of no. Again, that can change if they find some signings. But if you're going to lose Eze, potentially Gahey, and potentially Mateta, you're losing three of your 4 best players. I think Wharton will stay, but if you're losing that quality, I think that brings you down. They still have enough quality to be okay, but if they don't add to that, then they'll be in trouble next year. So I think that and the fact they're in Europe and they haven't made any signings is why I've got them down. If they make signings of quality and replace the players that leave, then they might be okay. But right now, I think 14th, but not in any relegation problems. Just a really below average season.
Yeah, so I've gone for Fulham in 14th place. So again, a bit similar to you. I'd say up to 11th. My order could change to anything as well. To be fair, I think the top 10 I've done is going to be set in stone, but up to 11th, any of these could change. And yeah, I've gone for Fulham in 14th. Haven't made any signings. I thought they were going to sack Silver towards the end of the season, or he was going to leave or whatever, but I haven't really seen much of a plan. Got some good players. I think they'd be safe mid-table, but I'm not expecting any sort of fireworks from them.
Perfect.
Yep. 13th.
I understand that. There are a few positions away from there, but I get the reasoning.
Yeah. 13th.
Everton.
Okay.
I think they'll just have a good steady season under David Moyes. He'll be in charge the whole season. They've got some good players. They signed a really good young striker that will probably play alongside Beto. I think they go 2 up front now. I just think they need another winger to go with Ndiaye and McNeil. They've got Braithwaite, Pickford. They've got good players, Everton. They're a good side and they play well under Moyes. So it'll be a very it'll be a season that they won't mind. I know last year was okay in the end, but they've had a few hard seasons and finishing 13th in their first year in their new stadium, they'll be all right. And I think that's about where I see them this year.
Yeah, I've taken Palace for 13th, and it's pretty much for the similar reasons you've said. I will be really concerned if we lose both Eze and Gui. I'd take losing Guy because he's only got 1 year on his contract, but I think Eze, we lost Elise last year, didn't fully replace him. I know Ismaila Sarr came in and did well, but he isn't a direct replacement for Elise. No one's going to replace that in one season. So I think if we keep Eze, again, like you say, being in Europe, could be a struggle, but it's going to be less games playing in that Conference League now if this decision gets upheld. So I think that's only 6 games rather than the 8 games you would have got in Europa. So, and I don't think there's, as a Palace fan, I think people are pissed we got knocked out of the Europa, but for me, I'm looking at that's more of a sort of winnable or get into the later stages in that tournament. And for the club of our size, I think that is a more natural way to get into Europe, if you agree with that. So I think if we'd ended up getting in Europa League and had a terrible run of fixtures and that could have just completely KO'd all the confidence. You're going to get a few games where you're going to get a couple of easy wins in there, a bit of a confidence boost. It's in Europe, get to travel abroad, etc. So I think that could be a good momentum, and it's a way to sort of ensure some players will stay or sign with us if we do well in, say, that competition. But if we lose both of them, yeah, I'm putting them down for 13th, but it could get worse if we lose both and don't replace them.
Yeah, agreed.
So 12th?
Fulham.
Okay.
Same reasons as you. They've got enough quality for this year, but it's not going to be excitement. Again, they're a team that needs to really improve if they want to stay in the league in the next coming seasons, which they will. I'm looking ahead, but I think they will make some signings. I think they'll add to their players. They have some good players. They need essential midfielder for my liking to go with Berg. I'm not a big fan of Lukic. I've had this argument with Mark before. I think they need a central midfielder. And they probably need a few more attacking options. I think they need a striker. The young lads didn't play as well last year after a really good end to the season before. But they've got some good players in good areas. They've got a good defence. Bassi, Robinson, Tete stayed on. If they get 3 or 4 signings, they could potentially be 10th, 9th. But I think 12th is fair enough right now where they're at.
Yep, not too far away with that one, to be fair. So I've gone for Everton. Again, I think like this is probably like my opposite to the Brentford, where some people would put them a lot lower. I sort of think there's Everton are on the cusp where they could sneakily have like a really good season under Moyes, because I think he went under the radar after he returned there. He sort of left West Ham in a bit of a shit cloud, really, wasn't it? It wasn't a great sort of look. Came into Everton, not much expectation. I think he surprised a few people with some of the attacking football rather than just being the 1-0 specialist. They did score quite a lot of goals. They did look quite good on the eye at times. So I think as well, like you're saying, with the new stadium, there's a bit of a pressure to perform. And I can see them finishing 12th and having a fairly solid season.
So yeah, so we've got them 3 in different orders, but right now we've got the same sort of teams.
There's not going to be many points between this as well. It's going to be one sort of like no man's league table of just nothing to play for, maybe with 5 games to go. So what's it, 11th place now, rounding off the bottom half?
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
You shake your head. I think you've probably got the same. I think they've got some good players still. They have lost a few players defensively, but they've replaced They've replaced Kirkus. They've replaced. They brought in Petrovic. He was a good goalkeeper. I think he'll do well. They've still got the Ukrainian lad, but Sensei's a good. He was the first choice with that guy before Houston came in last year. So they've still got enough quality there. They've got Kluivert, Semenyo. They've got the Brazilian striker up front. They've still got the centre midfielders. So I still think they're a good side, and I still think that there will be nowhere near any problems. I think they will be in the top half a lot of the season and maybe just finish outside. Another strong, solid season for Bournemouth, and they will finish 11th.
Yeah, I've put Bournemouth as 11 as well. I've based it on them keeping the players they've got at the moment. So keeping Semenyo, keeping Kluivert, who obviously got Ivan Nilsson. So it's a good attacking trio there. Manager, I do like the manager as well. I think he's done well since he's been there. But obviously, if they were to lose one or both of those, I would maybe put them 1 or 2 low, because their whole back 4 has been torn up. As you said, they have got a couple of replacements in. But when you lose like 3 of the back 4 plus your goalie, that's a bit of a change. That's like one of the key partnerships that you have. Mm-hmm. But again, he's been there a while now, hasn't he? It's not new to the role, so I'm sure he's got a plan and he's got a whole pre-season to implement it, because these moves didn't come out of nowhere. These were done like within a week of the season ending, weren't they? Really?
Yes, enough time. They'll be all right. They'll have a solid season. I think they might have a cup run as well.
Yeah. So top 10 now. So who's making it in 10th position?
Nottingham Forest.
Okay.
I think my reason is probably very obvious. You've lost a good player in Elanga. You've got European football. You overachieved last year where you finished. Did they finish 7th? They overachieved. Let's not make a mistake about it. Some people will have them even further down probably because they think they might not be as good. I think they've still got enough players. If they keep Gibbs White, if they replace Elanga, they'll have a solid side. European football won't affect them too much. I think 10th place is a fair selection.
Yeah, I've put them in 10th as well. I think there will be a natural drop-off, and the fact they're going to be playing in the Europa League it is now, isn't it? They were in the Conference League originally, but Europa League. I think the end of the season, that sort of showed how the owner is as well. When he came on and started having a pop at Nuno after one of the games, like, I know it's easy to say it from this position because I've got nothing to lose or nothing to gain in it, but I would
ungrateful prick.
I would have been tempted to just give him the jacket and say, go on then, mate, you go and manage the team and storm off. But obviously he's under contract, did not get a payout, etc. So he's had to swallow it there. But I think that was total disrespect, and I think he's going to be one of the main catalysts to their downfall. I think if Nuno had been allowed to just quietly get on with his business, they'd slowly sort of grow as organically, if that makes sense. But I think Elanga's gone. He was quite pivotal to a lot of the good they did last year. He scored a lot of goals in 1-0 wins. I don't think Chris Wood will be as prolific. I think his XG was one of the lowest in the league last year. He was just taking all of his chances. That, unless he's like the New Zealand Messi, that's not going to continue, is it? Yeah, he's going to have a natural drop-off with that, where these chances just won't trickle in, etc. And then, well, if Gibbs White goes to Spurs, which is being touted at the moment, that's again going to be two of their sort of talismanic players gone. They have got a couple of Brazilian lads in from, was it Botafogo they signed them both from? But again, that's going to take some time to settle in. You sort of best off with what you know, isn't it? So I think 10th is a fair reflection for Forest.
Yeah, agreed. I think they'll get a replacement for Elanga. I think they'll bring someone of quality in, and that's probably one of the reasons. I just think they'll replace him because they've got the money to replace him. I just, and that's why I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. So number 9,
Aston Villa.
Okay.
I just think not much done in the market. They can't really do much in the market. They've not really got a replacement for Watkins if he leaves or if he's injured, because obviously Duran and then obviously Rashford's not coming back. They've got a bit of quality in Milan and Bailey, but they're not consistent. They really rely on their midfield. They've got a lot of quality in the midfield area. McGinn, Tillsman, Kamara. Obviously Morgan Rogers is someone who's pivotal for that team as well. If this team stays the way it is, they'll be ninth. If they get a few players in, they may potentially climb. I just think there's teams that are looking better right now than Villa. I think this might be a controversial one. I rate the manager. I think they got a chance of winning something this year as well, cup-wise, because he loves cup football. I just look at that team and think that they haven't really added anyone, because you can't just rely on your laurels more. And that's what I think they've done here. I think they think their team's good enough, and I think they just need a little revamp and a few players added on for competition-wise, and maybe just another added superstar on that left wing. I think that's what they're missing. They're just missing a natural left winger to take people on and score goals, because, like I said, Morgan Rogers plays behind the striker. The other two are right wingers. So you can get a left winger and then maybe I'll change my mind. But I think Knight's a fair reflection. It's not going to be a disastrous season. I think financially it's affecting them. And because of that fair play thing, whatever it's called. And they're struggling to really bring anyone of note in. And I think that will just affect them.
Yeah, I've gone slightly higher, but I get your reasoning. I was concerned about their lack of signings as well, and I'll get onto that when I do my bit. But I've actually put Brighton as my 9th, and again, I've got the top 10 as a clear 10, and then I've sort of said like my 8 might even be a top 8 as well, depending on how the points go at the end of the season. But I think Brighton, I've been really impressed with the manager last season. I think he did really well, and I think they've made some not amazing signings, but they've done like tidy business. Like Adringo, as you touched upon earlier, hardly played for them. They got rid of him for 20 million to Sunderland. That's good business there. And I think they do it every year. They just reharvest more players that we've never heard of, and then they come out and all of a sudden they're amazing. So yeah, I'll be looking for them. They'll be the dark horse to push into European places for me if anyone's going to come from the pack. But as of right now, I've just put them in at number 9 as a wait and see.
Yep. And I get that.
So 8th place,
Brighton.
Okay.
I think they've got some really solid players, 2 really good gems, central midfield, Beber and Yari. They've got Matoma, Ruta on the wings. They've got Miti. They've got Gruda, who can also play on the wing. 2 young players that improved near the end of last season. Solid defensive players. We know who they got back there. They got the Dutch boy, got a solid goalkeeper. They've got an experienced striker in Welbeck. I think if they can get a proper striker, like a prolific one, they could even be further up. And the manager, top manager, they're a good side, Brighton. It's the best. This is the best Brighton have looked for a while. They've got a really classy team, young team. I think they could definitely push for Europe. I think 8th has been, if they get a good start, they can definitely be in front of the 2 noddies that are the next 2 teams. I think 8th will annoy some fans. I think there's fans out there, especially Brighton fans, that think they could probably push the top 6 this year, especially if they can get a striker.
Yeah, I think they need to replace João Pedro because Welbeck can't do it all on his own. And also,
I think they will. I think they will as well.
Be injury-free, hopefully, for the whole season because he was coming back after a long layoff last year as well, wasn't he? He was really good the year before.
Who? Welbeck?
No, Matoma.
Yeah, Matoma would be good this year.
Yeah. So number. Oh no, I've got to do my number 8. I know. So your mates, Man United. So I think they're like predicted to be back in the top 6 again, but I don't know. I think I like the signings. They've basically got the 2 best players from 2 mid to lower table teams, who literally like carried those teams at times of the season. But you're bringing them into a team that's a bit of a mess. The manager, I'm not sold on him, to be honest with you. Like when he came, it was like the second coming of Jesus Christ when he was announced. There was like almost like a Netflix documentary just unveiling him, wasn't there? Like that's all Sky Sports. I think when Fergie retired, there was less Sky Sports coverage about it. So for me, I was just thinking, okay, he's done well at Sporting, but then he's come along and he's sort of just proved us all right, hasn't he? Because it was worse than Ten Hag for a large portion of the season, and they nearly got away with it.
Yeah.
But if they'd won that Europa League, that would have been getting away with it. I'm not going to say they deserved to lose in the final, but that was sort of like justice happening because Ange made no argument about what his priorities were in the second half of the season, and Ange took a lot of shit from the media over the whole second half. But he had his aim was to win that, fix everything, always win in his second year, where Amorim was sort of as if he was reinventing the wheel and it was some sort of like godlike figure. So for me, I think he'll want to play a system. Just getting those 2 players isn't going to fix it. 2 very good players, but he still needs to sort out that rotten core. And I think it will take at least another season if he makes the season.
I get that. Totally get it. Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. I've got him slightly up higher.
Yeah. Number 7.
Tottenham.
Yeah.
It'll be better than last year, that's for sure. Listen, I don't know if Frank will get time. I don't know. I don't know if 7th's good enough for him for the board. But there'll be a better side. They'll be more compact. They have good players, Tottenham. I just think it was the way they were told to play. If they keep their centre-back partnership, and look, they had injuries last year as well. Let's not. I fucking hate Tottenham. We know that, but they had injuries as well. They weren't just dog shit. But they've signed some good players. Kudos will be a good signing. He'll play behind the striker. They've got Solanke. They've got Kubiyeski. They've got Son. They've got Brendan Johnson. So they've got enough options, and Kudus can play on the left if they bring Morgan Gibbs-White in. I think Son will be a bit part player. He'll still play, but he won't start every game. They've got some good players, Tottenham. I think Frank will make them better. I don't know if that's enough for that owner that is an idiot. It'll be a better season, but I don't know if 7th's what they want. I think European football is obviously potentially going to help them. I know people say, what do you mean help them? I think playing in a high level more regularly will help them playing in a higher level when they play their Premier League games because they have the squad to combat to European football. That's the difference between Tottenham and, say, a Crystal Palace. Tottenham probably got a player for each position. Palace haven't. That's not a criticism of Palace. I think that's a fair reflection. So maybe when they play European football and they play a team like Bayern Munich, let's just say example, they can take, as long as they don't get battered 4-0, they can go and then play Burnley and batter them 4-0. I think last year when they were playing shit teams from Cyprus and then going, thinking that, oh yeah, we just beat this time from Cyprus or wherever it was, Sweden or wherever they were playing, and then they'll go play Leicester and lose 2-1.
Yeah.
I can you know what I mean? And they won't swap about. They'll just make the additional changes because it's just squad depth. They won't change it because they don't want to play certain players. So I don't know. I think Frank will make them better tactically. I think they have quality. I think they've made some good signings. I think they need a centre midfielder. I don't think Gibbs-White is actually that needed because I think they got Maddison and Godos. But if they sign him, fair play. It's another good signing. I think an actual central midfielder to go with Bentancur because Kasuma and Sarr are just inconsistent. I think if they get someone with him, they've got a good team, Tottenham, and I think 7th place might not sound as what they want, and I think they've got potential to climb. But I just think, I don't know. There's just something in my head telling me that they're not there yet. They're just missing one more piece, which I think they won't be able to get into next year. And I don't know what that piece is, but I don't know.
Okay.
7th.
Yeah. What I'll do, I'll summarise the next couple because we've got the same teams in different positions. So rather than be repetitive, so I've done Villa. I've based it on 7th on them actually signing. When I say an attacker, I mean in the front 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyone in the front 7, as long as they sign some sort of attacker, I think they'll be okay. I think they coped really well with European football last year. They did well in the Champions League, but they did well in managing the fixtures as well. That they rotated where they had to. But I am concerned that they had Rashford and Asensio for the second half of the season. That's when they could sort of like re-energise themselves a bit. So I think they'll be up there at the start, but there will be a drop off again. And it's whether they can't just keep going back to the well in January every time and saying, "Oh, we're doing well now. Let's get some players in." And like you said, they were loan moves, weren't they? So probably financial fair play is partly behind that. But I think they've got a good enough squad. If they avoid massive injuries and get one signing in, I think they'll be okay.
Perfect.
Yep. Number 6.
Man United.
Yeah.
I completely agree with what you were saying earlier. I'm basing it on him not playing a back 5. Don't be a dick. You don't have the players for a back 5. You know, I study football. I know a lot of teams in the sense of their personnel. You play your 2 new strikers, left and right wing, forwards, left and right wing, behind. Let's say they bring someone else in, and you have one of the 2 noddies, Hofflin or one of them to back them up. You've got Fernandes and Mount as a number 10. You play Manu and Garth in the middle, and then you play 2 back. You play Martinez with whoever you want to play. Whoever you think, Gillette or Yoru, whoever you want to play with him. Don't start playing a back 3 centre backs. It doesn't suit Man United's style. It's not going to suit the fans. It's going to get them angry. Amorim has to show flexibility here. If he shows flexibility, they have a good enough team to finish 6th. That team is not that bad. It's not. I always thought up to last year, Man United's problem was their attack. But defensively last year, they were bad, especially when he came in. Because I just think they're not used to playing that way. You're playing players right wing and left wing, like playing right wing back and left wing back. It's just not. It doesn't suit certain teams, and it doesn't suit that set of players. You've got 4 fullbacks. You've got 5 centre backs. Just play a back 4. Play 2 in the middle. Play 3 behind the striker. You've got the players for that. You've got 2 number 10s in Mount Fernandes. You've got 3 wingers, Diallo, Kuna, and Bemo. You've got centre midfielders. I think you've got 3 or 4. They might need one more. And they've got 2 strikers. I think they'll sign a striker. And that's why I'm putting them 6 as well. I think if they can get a decent striker. I think Man United, decent striker. Amorim's not arrogant. Change the system. Players stay fit. I think 6 is the best they can get. And that's with all that. If they don't, they'll finish 8th, 9th or 10th.
Yeah, I get that as well. If he played Cunha left and Buemo right of the striker, whoever that is, I thought at a time it might have been Gokares got his boy back, but obviously that doesn't look likely at the moment. But whoever it is, even if it's Højlund or Zerke, whoever it is, Bruno has to be behind that striker as well.
Yeah. And then you can play Mount in the midfield too if you have to. But you've got Manu. He doesn't seem to be that keen on Manu. He doesn't seem to like him.
But he was playing too deep last season, Bruno, and he was by far their best player. But
So what he was doing was he was putting him in the centre and putting Mount behind the striker.
Yeah.
Switch it, put Bruno behind the striker. Bruno actually had a really good year last year. He actually probably the best he's ever played for Man United.
Yeah, I get what you were saying with it, but I just don't feel when you're saying about him not being arrogant, I can't see that not happening for me. That's
agreed.
I put them a little bit down, but they have got
chips on the table.
Yeah, they have got the structure of a decent team if he uses it properly. Agreed. I've gone for Spurs in that position, so it's only one higher than you had them. Again, I think Frank will be okay. He'll get them to play a bit better. It'll just be a big step for him. He was really good in his previous role, where there's a structure, there's not a massive expectation. I think the only thing that can go wrong here is Levy and the expectation. Frank will need time to get everything how he wants, but he has taken his whole team there, so he has got familiar faces around him. And like I say, I think they'll do well. They've got the Champions League football. I agree with what you said, that playing in that will make them better. That Villa had it last year, because everyone has to get maybe you have to 80% rotate every week. So you just make 2 changes every week so that everyone gets rest every 4 games, something like that. So nothing major, not like a Pep Guardiola rotate the whole team and play everyone out of position, but just give everyone a little rest, 1 in 4, 1 in 5 games off, and they'll manage that no problem at all. And I think, like you said, they have got good players. They don't need to rely on Son, who to me is a little bit shot now. I think he still can be impactful in certain games, but I think he's going to be more of a bit part player, like you said, maybe an impact sub, play him in the right games. But yeah, I think they've got the makings of a good season there, Spurs.
Yeah, look, 7th's better than 17th. I was trying to explain why. I just think they will just not be that good enough. But I think if you give him time, they can definitely be top 4 next year. If they finish 7th, I think Tottenham have a good manager here. I just don't think he gets time.
And you could argue they had a Premier League team in the physio room last year. If you added up all the players, those teams could have stayed up in the Premier League themselves with that.
They might not all be amazing players, but they have a player for each position. They have depth in every position, and that's not every team can say that. So there is quality there. And like I said, I think this, even without Gibbs White, they'll finish in the top 7th. Gibbs White, they might push them up a few positions, but I think 7th and 6th, I think that's a fair reflection. I think any higher than that would be very it'd be very suspicious, because I can't see why you would think that, especially with the top 5, how they were and how they're looking now.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got the same top 5. We just find out the order now. So 5th?
Newcastle.
Okay.
I think that's an obvious one. I think the top 4 set in stone. I think Newcastle will have another good season. I think a good signing in Elanga. They needed Elanga. Listen, he had a good year last year, but Jacob Murphy is not a Champions League right winger. Let's just be clear. He's not. So they've had Elanga, they've got Barnes and Gordon. Gordon will start, Barnes will float both sides. They've got Isaac if he stays. They've got really good 3 central midfielders. There's no depth to them 3 though. If one of them gets injured, you're looking at Joe Willock, who can't stay fit himself. They've got 2 really good young fullbacks in Hall and Livramento. Botman, he'll be back this year. He's their best centre back. They need a centre mid backup. They need a centre back partner with Botman, because Shah, for me, I've never been a big fan. But there's quality there. They've got a quality first 11 where maybe they don't have the depth, but if that 11 stays fit, they'll be okay. And I do expect them to add some players as well to give them that security that they'll be okay. So yeah, for this reason, I think that they'll have another solid season. I can't see why they wouldn't finish in the top 5. I think they'll have a decent run in the Champions League. Isaac will score goals, Gordon will score goals, Elanga will score goals, and it'd be a good season. 5th place is a good season. I think they'll want to win another cup. If you told a Newcastle fan you'll win the League Cup again, they'll snatch your hand off. I think most teams would. So yeah, I think 5th's a fair place. I think they might be on their own in 5th. They could be 6 points away from both positions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've got them in 5th as well. And again, I've just put down another strong season. They've added Elanga. It feels like they might end up with too many cooks, if that makes sense, but that's better than not having enough depth. So as long as he rotates it sort of fairly to keep everyone happy, that's going to be his biggest challenge now that he's got competition places. But Wilson's gone, hasn't he? So they've got to work on a backup striker, I suppose, haven't they? Because Isaac plays injured, yeah, but he did have was it minor groin surgery at the end of the season? So you've got to bear in mind you can't just run him 2 years solid now, and he's been running to the ground. So he needs to come off at certain points or have rest at certain points as well. But yeah, I do agree they're going to be best of the rest. But bear in mind as well, I think there's a strong chance that top 5 could get Champions League again this year, because I'm expecting like our teams to do well again in the European competition. So top 5 is potentially Champions League place in its own. And I think, again, they deserved it as well. And the manager's done well since his appointment as well.
Agreed.
4th spot, traditional top 4 now.
Yeah, I think obvious Chelsea. I mean, they're 4th. I think everyone should have them 4th. Let's not be mistaken by the Club World Cup. It was a glorified pre-season. Well done for winning it. Congratulations. Good signings. Pedro's a good signing. Delap's a good signing. Their goalkeeper's a problem. and they need centre backs. I'm sorry, Fofana can't stay fit. I'm not convinced by the others. I'm not convinced. I think they've got two good fullbacks, but Rich James will get injured at some point. So I think defensively worries me with Chelsea. That's why they're still not in the title hunt as of yet. They've got some really good central midfielders, especially Casido. We know what Cole Palmer can do. The left wing, Kittens, he's a gamble. I don't know much about him, but
A
Neto's a
lot
good
of money
player.
as well, wasn't it? That one, a lot of money.
Yeah, and people say about Madueke, but this guy cost a lot of money and he's a big gamble. He scored one goal more than Madueke. Madueke played in the Premier League. I'm not trying to justify the signing. We'll get
Same
to
what
that in
I
a
said to you
minute.
the other day about you signing Madueke when you've got Nweri. It's the same here. Like if you've got Madueke, why do you need Gittins? It feels sort of like it's all similar, isn't it? There's no need to make the move, in my opinion.
I'll get to that reasoning when we talk about Arsenal, but I understand that completely. I think they're a good side. I think they've got some good players. I think Pedro. The thing with Pedro is that he doesn't just play up front; he can play anywhere behind the striker.
I think
he can play all four positions. I would not be surprised if he starts left wing and the lap up front, and then Palmer and Neto.
He played 10 a lot, didn't he, for Brighton behind Welbeck?
Yeah. And then Palmer could split up to the right. So there's plenty of options. I just think defensively worries me for Chelsea. Plus burnout. They've only just finished their season. I think they'll slow start, but I expect them to finish fourth with ease. And I think they're not far away from another championship if they can keep hold of. He might not be the most popular appointment. I think they like him now, but keep Enzo. Let him. He doesn't have that much of a choice, but he'll have an idea of what he wants. I think Chelsea need to sign a world class centre back next year. They'll be okay this year, but if they want to win the league, they need a world class centre back. If we look at the three teams that are above them, Van Dijk, Saliba, Gabriel, Diaz, Guardiola, well, they're world-class defenders. Chelsea don't have a world-class centre-back. Colville, Levy Colville is, he's okay. Fofana, he's in the hospital all the time, and there's no one of note. For Chalobah and Tosin they're not Chelsea starting quality. I'm sorry, they're not.
They need a younger replacement for.
And they just need a quality. They just need to get a world class centre back, and I think Chelsea are there. And they need a world class goalkeeper. Tim Howard is just not good enough. Obviously, Sanchez. He's not a Chelsea number one. So that's my reason. That's why I think they finished fourth.
Yeah, I've got him in fourth, and I think for the stick he's had, I think the manager's done quite well to manage the expectations and sort of. We haven't heard any noise about Bowley recently. When it was a shit show a couple of seasons ago, all we heard was the Bowley show, wasn't it?
Yeah, now they're doing well. No one wants to know.
The headlines have gone, and that's the best thing for you if you're a Chelsea manager. Keep all the noise out. Yeah. And I think it made them quite solid and tough to beat. I don't see a game where they get a lot of goals put past them. And
they won't. But they just won't do it when it matters. In the big games, they won't do it when it matters defensively. They'll win the games they should do. And they are a good side. I think Chelsea are a good side. And I think they probably will win something again this year. I just think they're not there yet. They're just not the complete article.
Yeah, I think they're not far from being back in the, as you would say it, with United and stuff. I think they're not far away from being back in the conversation, yeah? So I've got them as fourth again, but I think it'd be comfortable fourth.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep. So third place?
Controversial. Liverpool.
Okay.
I think they weren't that good just last year. I think Arsenal and City being poor was the reason why they won the league. Listen, obviously they've lost. Sadly, they've lost a player that would have been a very versatile player. Rest in peace to Jota. But they're going to lose Diaz, Nunes. They're going to lose him. So that leaves Cody Gakpo, left wing. That leaves, I can't say his name, but they won their signing for 80 million, 90 million. Who scored 15 goals last year in the German league. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. And a 33-year-old Mo Salah. Yes, they've got Wirtz, but Wirtz wants to play in the number 10 role. So they're going to force Wirtz out left or right wing in a position that he doesn't like to play, because you're not going to drop Szoboszlai and you're not going to drop Gravenberg and McAllister. So, and I also think they actually need a proper defensive midfielder. I think Gravenberg did well, filling for it, but he's not that sort of player. And I think he will get shown up now this year, especially with teams bulking up in them areas. I still think there'll be a comfortable season when it comes to finishing in the top four. I think defensively they've improved, but The lad that they've got on right, I can't remember, Frimpong, he's just as bad as defending than Alexander Arnold. There's a reason why Bayer Leverkusen sold him. I think Kirkes will be well, but I don't think he'll start every game. I still think Robertson will still start every game. And there's no depth. There's no depth to their centre back partnership. So if there's one injury to Van Dijk or Konate, they're in trouble because Joe Gomez is crap. So there is a lot. There is a lot to like about Liverpool. I think they've got an absolute world-class starting 11. Okay, no doubt about it. But I've just pointed out all the issues they've got, and they're relying on a guy who scored 15 goals who was a flop at PSG. Diaz might not be next year, so you go and Godi Cappo, who prefers to slot in, Wirtz, who prefers to slot in. So they've only got one natural winger if Diaz leaves. Yeah, I'm just worried that can they afford to replace Diaz now because they've already spent loads of money. I think that's a really rash striker signing. I would have given Nunes another year personally, but obviously I'm not the manager. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I just think Arsenal and City will be better this year, and Liverpool will finish third, and they will be in the title race. But about a few months before, they'll just end up being comfortable with third place and potentially trying to push for a Champions League, which they probably will try and push for. They have the quality to do it. I just think there's just things that worry me about this team. The Wirtz is a very good player, but I don't know where they're playing. If they play him out of position, and I just think, yeah, I think that's a fair reflection. I get it. I understand everyone's going to have them finishing first because they won last year. I can't see them winning the league. Just can't see it. And I think third's a fair reflection.
So this could go the other way around. It depends how I need to see how the season starts. So Man City, they could come second, but I'm giving the team that comes second a bit more credit this season. So Man City, I'd worry about. Yeah, they've made a couple of signings, but Kevin De Bruyne, if you look at like Haaland and the amount of goals he scored when he first joined, then they were saying like, would he get 22 last season? And they're saying, oh, it was a flop season. But how much was Kevin De Bruyne available last season? And when he did play, how effective was he compared to how we're used to seeing him? So I think when you go back to when Haaland in his first season, you look at that and you think that was amazing. But how much of a contribution was Kevin De Bruyne's assists? Or if they weren't assists, they were the key pass before. I see a lot of midfielders. I see a lot of similar midfielders. I see a lot of wing backs that are actual midfielders and not playing in the right position. I expect to play left wing back permanently now. Guardiola slot into centre back, which is probably more his natural position, but he was having a lot of success in that left wing back slot himself. I think they're going to be playing. Is it Matheus Nunes at right back now? I don't know what then happens with like the likes of Ake. Who's the right back? The youngster.
Your boy Ake. Rico Lewis.
Yeah, so you've got all these players there, and you know when you look at it, you just think it's all the same. And then he ends up not playing Diaz for half of the game. You think that's mental. Like him and Guardiola should just start literally when fit every game. But Diaz plays like 60% of the games. I don't get it. And then you've got like your Savinhos, you've got your Dokus. He just puts them all on there, and it just seems like like a bunch of headless chicken all just running around, and Haaland just standing there, walking, waiting for the ball, and you think there's no synergy there. It used to be like really good on there, and that was all because of De Bruyne and Rodri. Basically, you took those elements away, and you saw sort of flaws, didn't you? So I think depending on how they start, I worry about how they're going to get the ball to Haaland because everyone seems to have adapted to Haaland now and just sort of like mark him out of the game to a certain extent. He needs the ball put on a plate for him. He is a great finisher. He is good at what he's doing, but if you manage him, you mark him, you can limit him, and you put pressure on the other players. A bit like in the NBA, isn't it? When you mark the best player, make the second best player make the shots. You just push it out. I don't know who that player is now. So I think Haaland has shown it in the past when he doesn't get the ball, he sulks around, he drops, he doesn't run back. And I can see that negative energy just sort of creeping in and having a similar season to last year. I don't think they're going to be title candidates. Club World Cup, yeah, he probably didn't give two shits about it, to be fair, but it still sort of showed in those games, didn't it, that they went out to. Fair enough, they had some good players in that Saudi team, but they shouldn't be losing to a Saudi Pro League team, really, should they? The status of that club.
Okay.
So, second place.
Okay. I'm going to go Arsenal.
Oh, hello.
Because I'm not deluded. I'm going to go Arsenal right now. I think this team, even without striking Havertz up front, will finish second. If you add Victor, I think we could push. And the reason why, if we get him in, I think we've just got depth everywhere, and we also got that new other centre back that we should be signing, the Spanish one. We'll have two right backs, two left backs, four centre backs, two defensive mids. Ethan Nuari is actually going to play where he wants to play, whereas Odegaard plays. He's not a right winger. He's actually a centre attacking midfielder. He's now going to play as the backup and slot in with Odegaard. You've got Rice and Marino, Trossard and Martinelli. I think we signed a left winger, and I think one of them leaves. I think Trossard leaves. And then you've got Saka and Madueke. You got Havertz. I think we signed Victor. So even without Victor, I think we finished second. With Victor, I think we could push first. I'd be very surprised if we don't. We're not going to finish outside the top two. There is just similar to Tottenham. I don't know. We have all the pieces. Everyone stays fit. We sign Victor. Let's say we sign a left wing of quality that starts or rotates with Martinelli. I think the team's there and there's no more excuses. I don't want to say finish first right now because I'm not completely convinced. If we do a halfway season, I probably will say it. I don't know. It's just a hard one. I don't want to come out and say we'll win the league because I think I'll get a lot of criticism for it. I just think we're going to be there. We're going to push. But there's my head's telling me. I think there's one. I just think there's one thing missing. But my heart's telling me Victor comes in. That's all we need. Regardless of Victor, we finish second. The team's good enough. We've got enough quality in other areas. If we sign Victor, if he gets off and gets scoring, then maybe I'm wrong and we finish first. But right now, I'm just not sure he'll get off to the start. I think he'll score goals eventually. Maybe it'll be too late. And I think first place, completely opposite to what you said, I'll get to him in a minute, will be too strong. And I think we'll finish second. But asterisk, maybe first.
I've put you second. I've put need a striker. I think you'll probably sign another 2 defensive midfielders and 3 more centre backs before we finish the window and blow all the budget, and then you'll be scrounging around asking if you can have Eddie Nketiah back. But yeah. I don't know, like the strikers that are there. The thing with Sesko, you're going to say the same as Hugo. Hasn't scored that many goals in the Bundesliga, but then you look at Gyökeres, everyone's in love with the goals. I remember when he was at Coventry and he scored one. He scored 1 in 3 for Coventry. And normally, that the players that dominate the championship as a top goal scorer, Mitrovic, Glenn Murray's, all those types of players that score goals in the championship, you're looking at like 35 goals plus, aren't you, in a season? So that sort of worries me that was, but then you could say, is that because Coventry weren't good enough? Blah, blah, blah. But I have the same worry as the manager coming from Sporting. We were like, oh yeah, look, he's amazing. You get this guy in as well. Is it going to be the same? I think you would have benefited from a striker like Mitrovic, just a literally finisher in the box, someone there that's just going to get in the end of stuff. Because I think you've got all the intricate play, you get the ball there, but then you haven't got sort of target. I think you've missed Giroud in a way.
Yeah.
It was good for you at like getting on the end of something. And you had an option when you're chasing the game or hunting a winner or whatever. But yeah, I think you're going to come second. I think Arteta needs to try and prioritise the cups a little bit better, not just the Champions League. Try and get a cup run and not just. I think he just sort of pisses them up the wall a little bit, and then that gets the fans on his back straight away.
Exactly. Listen, if we don't win anything, he's gone. You can't finish second again.
Because even I know it's not going to sound good, but if you win the League Cup, Mourinho did that, didn't he? When he was at Chelsea, that was the first thing he won. It gets the ball rolling, and it just. Quiets the noise. I know you're not going to be happy with only a League Cup, but what have you had for the last few seasons? Nothing. So look at Newcastle. They won something. Everyone's won something, and he's sort of there as the butt of the jokes. And he go and win something, shut everyone up. But then you'll get your mate Carl says that all the time, and then he'll win the League Cup. And you go, not good enough. Still sack him the day after.
Yeah, but he says that for a reason. Yeah. He never used to say that. Yeah. He used to say other stuff, but he says that now for fans.
Proper Arsenal fans, if you win the League Cup, you have to celebrate it. You can't not celebrate winning the League Cup. Whoever you are, won it, they would have celebrated if they'd won that game.
Agreed.
So yeah, I think he needs to do that just to sort of keep everything interesting. Like, you don't want all the jokes of like out of everything by February to come around every year. It's just active, isn't it? So yeah, I think they'll be all right. It's just.
Do you reckon we can win the league? You reckon we're in there?
There is a chance. I've got it at the moment. Obviously, I've put Liverpool first because of the teams that are left. I think, yeah, they're going to be too strong, but everything can change within a month or signings by the end of the window. It's all about how teams start. I think the three of you have all got toughish first fixtures. I think you all play each other in the first.
We have really tough.
Yeah. So could that open the door to someone like Chelsea who've got a really comfy start to sort of like pull away a little bit at the start and then make it a bit more interesting down the stretch? But I think those first sort of 5 or 6 fixtures where you all play each other, that will go a long way to determining how this season goes. So we'll see quite a lot of draws when you all play each other as well, which won't obviously help. But yeah, I think Arsenal, they'll be in the race again. I've put them at second, but again, any of these top 3 could reverse because I'm not expecting it to be like a one-horse race or anything like that.
I agree.
It'll come down to the 6 games between yourselves to decide it as well. You'll be able to say if one team beats the other 2 teams in the head-to-heads, that will be enough to lift the trophy, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
So you've got Man City then.
I think Pep's he's pissed off not winning it last year. Rodri's back. I think you've disrespected their signings. Chekri, probably saying his name wrong. He's a very good player, Phil. I know it's the French league, but you have to give these players a chance.
Yeah, but he was coming to us last year for 20 million. So it's not like when you're saying, oh,
he's a very good player. He will play well under Pep. Pep will put him into the player he wants. He's going to be the one who's going to get the ball to Haaland. He's going to be the one. The only thing with Man City that worries me is that Doku and Savinho are their out-and-out wingers, okay? And then you've got Silva and Foden, Chekri, Mamouche. All 4 of them can play anywhere. They can all play false 9, blah, blah, blah. You can't fit all 4 of them in. They're the 4 ball players, okay? But if you've got 2 of them on the pitch, they've got a chance with Haaland, okay? Centre midfield, it's going to be the one from AC Milan. I can't say his name. Rangers, whatever his name is. A very good player. Him and Rodri in the middle, they're going to sort stuff out. No problems whatsoever. Guardiola and Diaz, if you keep them at centre-back, Aknori at left-back, Rico Lewis right-back, that team is good enough. That team is good enough to win the league. It's if they all stay fit, if Pep doesn't fuck about with the attacking option too much and keep it consistent, they have the quality to get the ball to Haaland. Haaland's got to have a better attitude. They have the quality. They still a very good football side. And I think Rodri being back, trust me, Pep, when Pep loses the league, I'll come back. And I just expect him to come back and win this league. If they stay fit, if players are motivated, if he gets his selections right, he'll have enough quality to get the ball to Haaland. Let's not disrespect them other players. Yes, I get that. I understand De Bruyne, blah, blah, blah. But Silva, Foden, Mamouche, Chekri, the 2 boys wingers, they'll have a good few games as well. They have enough quality. They're a better side than Liverpool and us. People will write them off from last year. I think that's silly to do that. Like I said, I think it will be between us 2 in the very end, maybe last day. Just don't be surprised if they go and win it easily.
I don't know. I watched quite a lot of Man City games last year, and I found the difference between them and you and Liverpool. They just felt like there was no pace anymore. Before.
Yeah. I think they'll find. I think they'll find it. I think he's in the kitchen. He's in the kitchen. He's in the lab. I expect City to be up there this year. I think they're going to be a beast, and I think we're going to have to be our very best to stay with them. And I think we will be thereabouts. But right now, I just think that, trust me, it's all the plan. Write them off if you want, but I expect them to be there this year.
All right, I'm putting it down. I'm writing them off at my peril.
Yeah, I just don't see Liverpool. I think Liverpool have been overhyped a bit. I think they're a very good side. I think they just were the best of a bad bunch last year. There's a lot of worry in this Liverpool side. But go ahead. Tell me why.
When I watched you in Liverpool last season, you get the ball from your back 4 to the attacking third. quickly. You move the ball, you rotate the ball quick. Liverpool, City, they just like passing little triangles and then they're back where they started. And I think to myself, now the whole team's just got back and defended. You and Liverpool were good at just saying, right, we've got the ball back, let's break and hit them. And sort of like you'd make, it's like a boxer. You've just disorientated someone, you've got an opening, you take the shot. City are just there dancing around looking all nice, and you think, oh, he's got his guard up now. What, you just wasted the opportunity. That's how I feel this City team plays at the moment. And I know it's only the Club World Cup. I was expecting him to put in a little statement and be pissed off and try to sort of win that one just to get a bit more spending money and get a trophy, because that's what he's like, isn't it? But again, just I wasn't impressed with what I saw.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think we've got.
Why Liverpool?
I don't know, I just think they'll be better. I think I like the signings they made. I think they'll always been okay defensively. I think they've just added a bit more firepower, a bit more youth.
Okay. But what happens if Konate or Van Dijk gets injured?
They're signing Guy.
But they're going to sign him before.
We're not gonna take Guy into the last year of his contract. So
okay. What happens if they don't say Guy?
They'll sign someone else.
Okay. But of quality? Guy is a good player, I get that. Okay, but let's say they signed.
Konate had injuries the last 2.5 seasons, so they're not going to go in.
He wasn't injured last year. He was fine last year.
He had injury. He missed game time. He was in my fantasy.
Yeah, but he didn't miss that many. He started majority of the season.
So when he's fit, he'll play. But they will get a backup. But it's the same as you. Whenever like Saliba goes down or Gabriel goes down, your defence suffers, doesn't it? Even though Kirill did well last year replacing Gabriel, it's not the same.
No, agreed. It's not.
But I think
we would have potentially beaten PSG. I don't care what anyone says.
I think Liverpool, they've just got. If you're going to stick your house on a team scoring a goal in the last 10 minutes, say they're losing the game or they're drawing and they need to get the win. From what I saw last season, they created far more chances than, say, out the top three. You got the ball in the opposite third often, but you haven't got anyone pulling the trigger. Where with Liverpool, I think was it Everton when they drew 2-2?
Yeah.
And it was the last minute, but I think before that, I think they must have had about 20 opportunities in the last 10 minutes to get that goal.
Mm-hmm.
When I was watching it, you're just thinking for the last Merseyside derby, and it was actual mental. They didn't score more goals, but as a manager, I'd have been happy with that because at least I'm creating the chances. Not fair enough, like Nunes is missing half of them, but you're creating those chances, so you just got to turn those chances into goals.
Out of the three, they worry me the most defensively. Kirkus is a really good signing, but I don't think he starts every week.
There's 3 left backs at the club now.
Yeah, so exactly.
Okay, either of those.
Frimpong's going to worry me defensively.
Conor Bradley played well last season, so it's not guaranteed he starts either.
Who?
Conor Bradley played well when he
exactly.
came.
So there's no guarantee on Frimpong. I just worry for them defensively. I think they need a proper ball-to-ball midfielder, ball-stopping, ball-winning midfielder. I'm not slagging off Gravenberg. I think he's very good, but I think he played out of position and did the best he can. He's not that natural player. He wants the ball and he wants to play. And I just think eventually he's going to get found out. And he plays the same position with McAllister. You've got Solos Boy and Wirtz play the same position. You're going to force one of them out outside. You sell Diaz. People go, well, sign a replacement. I don't think you can sign a replacement. I think that's it. Liverpool can't sign any more players. And I think they're short up front. I just think they're short. I think they'll get affected. I just have a feeling that Salah can't do it all. He's 33, whatever he is. And the striker, I'm not convinced by that signing. I think that's a lot of money. If they signed Isaac, game over. Agreed. Game over.
I'm hoping they were going to sign
It's a weird signing. Is that the guy who's going to lead Liverpool? Is he going to score them 20 plus goals? No, he's not. And I just think that for me, there's worry. I think Arsenal and City have both got better. We've signed Zubimendi. He's 6 years younger than Thomas Partey. We've signed a really good replacement in Norgard. Who's going to come in and play when he has to. Madueke, look, I'm not the biggest fan of Madueke, but he's backup. He is actual depth. He's actual right winger for Saka, and he can fill in when Saka can't play. Okay, that's enough said on that one. We get a striker. Arsenal's defence is the best defence in the league. I'm sorry, it is. Yeah. If Arsenal get that striker, we're more complete than Liverpool. Arsenal had injuries last year. Man City had injuries last year. Liverpool were very lucky. I just think they won't be as good as last year. I think Arsenal and City will be better, and you'll see that personally.
Well, we've got 7 that we've confirmed and agreed on, I think. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? So seven we've agreed on, 13 differences. We'd have to do a recap at the end of the season, see how many of those 13. But you have to get the exact spot on. Yeah. So if Arsenal win the league and Liverpool comes second, we both get nothing. Yeah, it's not saying.
Because I've officially said second, but
yeah. So whoever you have to have that position nailed on. So, like, for example, you need Spurs to finish 7th. I need them to finish 6th to get the point. So we'll come back and review that at the end of the season. Yeah.
Perfect.
Right. Cheers for that, Graham. We'll see what the guys at home think. But yeah, good chat.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers, mate. Take care.
Bye.
So there we have it, guys. That was our Premier League 25-26 table predictions. Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of the predictions we've made. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next video.